You're standing on the first tee, brand new driver in your hands. It cost you $600, and you're still 10 yards shorter than you were 5 seasons ago. That gap is not your fault. That's the lie I'm here to expose. Here's the truth: I paid too much to learn. The most expensive driver in that pro shop is almost never the one that gives an older, slower swing the most distance. And the brand everyone swears is the best has been engineered for a golfer who is not you. Nobody told you that, because the markup on that shiny flagship pays for a tour star who swings 120 miles an hour. You are not that man. Neither am I. Stay with me to the end. I'll hand you a free adjustment backed by TrackMan robot numbers that gives back 15 yards without spending a dime. It works with a slow swing. It works with the exact driver already in your bag. I remember standing in a fitting bay in Scottsdale in the spring of 2019, handing over $700 for the newest launch, feeling like a genius. 6 months later, a buddy with a 9-year-old club outdrove me on the 10th. That day cracked something open in me. So let me rank every major driver brand from worst to best for 2026, and let me tell you exactly what they hoped you'd never connect. Before I name a single brand, you need one fact. Once you have it, you can never unsee it, and the whole industry looks different. There is a rule. The people who write the rules of golf put a ceiling on how fast a driver face can launch a golf ball. They call it the spring-like effect, and they measure it. The face can only rebound so much energy back into the ball. That limit works out to a number they cap at 0.83, and the face flex test they run cannot cross 239 microseconds, with a small tolerance up to 257. Now here's the part that matters to your wallet. Driver faces hit that legal ceiling back in the middle 2000s, roughly 2006. That was 20 years ago. Think about what that means. Every conforming driver made since then, from the cheapest closeout to the most expensive tour model, launches the ball off the center of the face at basically the same speed. The face cannot legally get any hotter. It's been maxed out for 2 decades. So when a company tells you this year's driver is faster than last year's, they are talking about a fraction of a mile per hour, if that, and only on shots you don't hit pure. The core engine, the face, was frozen by the rulebook before smartphones existed. That's the first thing they buried. You've been buying speed that physics stopped selling in 2006. But it gets worse when you see who charges the most for the least. So let me start the countdown at the bottom. The worst value in the driver market right now, dead last, is PXG. And I want to be fair, because their clubs are not junk. The metal is good. The finish is beautiful. That is exactly the problem. When this brand launched, the driver carried a price near $700, and some of their sets crossed into the thousands. They marketed themselves as the club with no advertising budget, the premium secret of people in the know. The whole pitch was exclusivity. But strip the paint off. The face still obeys the same 0.83 ceiling as a $200 driver. Independent launch monitor testing has never shown PXG producing ball speed that a Ping or a Cobra cannot match for hundreds less. You are paying for the badge, the machined look, and the story that you own something the common golfer doesn't. For a senior on a fixed budget, that is the single easiest way to light money on fire. Spending $300 or $400 extra for 0 extra yards is not a luxury. It's a tax on not knowing what I just told you. And if you think that's the worst offender, wait until you see who charges even more and sells it as heritage. Number 9 on my list, second from the bottom, is Honma. The top tier Honma drivers have carried prices that make grown men laugh out loud. We are talking $2,000, and in the wildest cases, gold shafted models running into 5 figures. The marketing leans on hand craftsmanship, layers of expensive shaft material, and a mystique built around luxury. And look, the build quality is genuinely lovely, but we already settled the physics. That gorgeous face cannot launch your ball 1 yard faster than a conforming driver you'd find in a discount bin because the rulebook froze the ceiling in 2006. For a fast tour swing, none of this even matters because they don't pay for their clubs. For you and me, paying luxury watch money for a driver is buying jewelry, not distance. If you love the feel and you have the money to burn, enjoy it. But don't tell yourself it's buying performance. It isn't. Here's where the story shifts from overpriced boutique brands to the giant that runs the whole game. Because the next name didn't just charge you too much. They trained the entire market to believe distance is something you rent every 12 months. Number 8 is TaylorMade, and now we're naming the machine. I need you to understand something, because I fell for it for years. TaylorMade is not primarily a golf company to your wallet. It is a marketing company that happens to make golf clubs. Nobody in this industry has been better at convincing you that last year's driver is suddenly slow. They pioneered the yearly release cycle. New model, new color, new name, new promise of speed, every single season. Their flagship drivers now sit around $600 at launch. And the ads always feature the longest, fastest players on the planet crushing it, so your brain quietly assumes that stick will do the same for your 78-mile-per-hour swing. Here's the buried part. Independent testing outlets that run these clubs side by side, year over year, keep finding the same thing. The distance difference between a brand new TaylorMade and the one from 2 or 3 years ago is usually inside 2 yards. 2 yards. On a good day, most of us can't feel 2 yards, let alone see it. And here's who profited from your confusion. Every time you traded in a perfectly good driver to chase 2 yards, they booked another $600 and the trade-in got resold to another golfer. The cycle only works if you never realized the face was maxed out in 2006. Now, is a TaylorMade a good driver? Sure. The forgiveness models are legitimately solid, but you are paying full retail for marketing muscle, not for a secret the other brands lack. Buy it a year old, save $200, and lose nothing that matters. So, if the biggest name is selling you a calendar instead of yards, the obvious question is which brands actually build for a swing like yours? Therefore, let's climb higher, and let's talk about a brand that's fantastic for the wrong player. Number 7 is Titleist, and this one hurts because I respect them deeply. Titleist makes precise, beautiful, low-spinning drivers. The TSR and TSI lines are engineering marvels. Their fitting process is one of the most serious in golf. If you are a low handicapper with real speed who shapes the ball on purpose, Titleist is elite. But read that sentence again. Low handicapper, real speed. Shapes the ball. That is not most golfers over 50, and it certainly wasn't me at 62. Titleist drivers historically launch lower and spin lower than the field, because that is what fast players need to stop ballooning the ball. But an older swing at 85 miles an hour or below usually needs the opposite. You need more launch and often a touch more spin just to keep the ball in the air long enough to carry. Put a slow swing behind a low spin tour head with a heavy stiff shaft and you get a knuckling shot that dives out of the sky and lands short. I watched a friend, 71 years old, get talked into a low spin Titleist head because the young fitter loved how it looked. He lost carry. Not because it's a bad driver, because it was the wrong tool for his engine. The brand isn't the villain here. The mismatch is. So it ranks in the middle for our audience, not because of quality, but because of fit. Which brings up the thing that quietly costs seniors more distance than any brand choice. But hold that thought, because I promised you a countdown, and the next brand is where the value finally starts turning in your favor. Number 6 is Callaway, and Callaway is where I start giving credit. Callaway leans hard on real engineering. They were early and aggressive with artificial intelligence designed faces, where a computer varies the thickness across the face to protect ball speed on off-center hits. For an older golfer who does not find the center every time, and let's be honest, that's all of us. Face technology that saves your misses is worth more than face technology that only rewards perfect strikes. Their forgiveness models, the ones built for high launch and stability, genuinely help a moderate swing. Independent robot testing has shown their high forgiveness heads holding ball speed on toe and heel strikes better than several tour-oriented rivals. That's real, and that's useful to you. The knock is still price. A new Callaway flagship launches near $600, same as the rest of the premium crowd, and they release on the same restless cycle. So the smart move is the same. Buy the forgiving model, buy it a year old, and pocket the difference. Callaway earns its spot in the upper half because the technology actually serves the mishit, and the mishit is where seniors lose their yards. But it's not the best value on the board, and I've got 4 brands still to go, including one almost nobody talks about that I now play myself. Number 5 is Mizuno, and this is the underdog I want you to stop overlooking. Everyone knows Mizuno for irons. Those buttery forged blades are legendary. Because of that reputation, their drivers fly under the radar. And that's a shame, because they've quietly built some of the most stable, best-feeling drivers in the game. Here's why Mizuno matters for you. They have a long history of caring about shaft, fit, and feel is not fluff for an older player. When the club tells your hands where the face is, you make better contact, and better contact is free distance. Their recent drivers have tested right alongside the big names for ball speed and forgiveness, at prices that sometimes run a bit friendlier because they aren't spending like the marketing giants. The catch is availability. Fewer shops stock Mizuno drivers, so fewer seniors ever get to hit one. The industry doesn't push what doesn't move volume, so a genuinely good, fairly priced driver stays invisible, and you keep getting funneled toward the names with the biggest ad budgets. That funneling, that's the pattern I want you to start seeing everywhere. Because the next brand proves that low price and high performance can live in the same club. But before I get there, I want to make sure you have something in your hands that goes even deeper than this video can. I put together a plain-spoken guide called Drive More, and it's part of a series that includes Swing Strong and Full Swing, written for exactly the golfer watching this right now. It covers the full brand rankings, the shaft weight chart by swing speed, and the exact loft and tee height settings by age and swing speed. Everything I've been telling you, organized into one honest resource you can keep and use every time you walk into a shop or step onto the range. You'll find it linked in the description below. Now, with that resource in your corner, let's keep climbing, because the next brand proves that low price and high performance can live in the same club. Number 4 is Srixon, and its sister Cleveland, and now we're into serious value. Srixon is owned by the same parent company as Cleveland and XXIO, and here's a little secret in that family. XXIO makes some of the most senior-friendly, lightweight, high-launch drivers on earth, specifically engineered for slower swings, though they charge a premium for it. But Srixon takes a lot of that same engineering knowledge and puts it in a driver that costs meaningfully less than the big flagships. Srixon drivers have tested extremely well for ball speed and forgiveness, often matching the $600 crowd while sitting $50 to $100 cheaper at launch and dropping fast after. They just don't have the marketing volume to be top of mind, so you walk past them. For a senior, the Cleveland and Srixon side of this family is a gift. Real technology, honest pricing, no calendar pressure. This is where your dollar starts working for you instead of for a tour contract. But if you want the two brands that combine forgiveness and value better than anyone, I've saved them for the top. Before I get there though, I have to stop and take care of the golfer who's sitting there thinking, that's fine, but I already own my driver and I'm not spending another nickel. This next part is built for you specifically. Because here's what almost no fitter will tell a man who isn't buying today. You can recover real distance from the driver already in your bag, right now, for free. And it starts with 2 dials most seniors never touch. Look at the head of your driver. If it was made in the last 10 years or so, there's a very good chance it has an adjustable hosel, that little wrench fitting where the head meets the shaft. Most golfers set it once or never and forget it exists. That little sleeve can add or subtract loft, usually a degree or two either way. Here's the problem I see constantly. Older golfers play too little loft. Somewhere in our heads we decided that low loft equals long, because that's what the low spin tour marketing taught us. But for a swing under 90 miles an hour, that's backwards. You need the ball up in the air to carry. If you're swinging in the low 80s and playing a 9 or 10 degree driver, you are very likely leaving carry on the ground. So grab the wrench, turn that hosel up, take a 9 to 11 or a 10.5 to 12. It costs nothing. You already own it. Go to the range and watch the ball actually hang in the sky and land softer and, on many swings, carry farther. I did exactly this with an old driver I almost sold, and I got back a club length of carry I thought age had stolen. The second free dial is your tee height and ball position, and I'll go deeper on that in a moment because it's the heart of the secret I promised. But there's a third fix that costs a little, not a lot. And it's the one the industry hates most because it means keeping your old head. Reshaft it? The single most overlooked distance killer for a senior is a shaft that's too heavy and too stiff. So many of us are swinging 65 or 70 gram stiff shafts because that's what came in the club or what the young fitter handed us. Drop to a 50 gram shaft in regular or senior flex, and testing consistently shows moderate swings pick up a few miles an hour of club head speed, sometimes 3 to 5. At your speed, that can be another 5 to 10 yards of carry, and it costs a fraction of a new driver. Heavier and stiffer feels powerful in the shop. It robs you on the course. The industry sells the head, but the shaft is the engine you can actually change. Sit with that, because it reframes everything, and now you're ready for the 2 best brands and the free secret that beats all of them. Number 3, and now we're at the top of the mountain, is Cobra. And I love what Cobra does for the everyday golfer. Cobra has spent years building genuinely forgiving, high launch, easy to hit drivers, and they price them like they actually want you to buy one. Their flagships routinely launch below the $600 giants, and their previous year models get discounted hard and fast, meaning you can get last season's excellent driver for well under $400. They've also embraced the mishit-friendly design philosophy. Big, stable heads. High moment of inertia, which is just a fancy way of saying the head resists twisting when you don't hit the center. And remember, the rules cap, that stability number at 5,900, and the good forgiveness models push right up toward that ceiling. Same as the premium brands. For less money, for a senior who wants maximum help on off-center hits without paying the marketing tax, Cobra is one of the smartest buys in golf. It ranks this high because it delivers the two things you actually need: forgiveness and honest pricing, without pretending it reinvented physics. But there's one brand that does forgiveness even better and has built its entire reputation on not lying to you. Therefore, the runner-up. Number 2 is Ping. And if I could only recommend one mainstream brand to a golfer over 50, this would be it. Ping is different in its bones. This is a company that historically resisted the yearly release insanity. They release drivers on a slower cycle, roughly every 2 years, because they refuse to launch something unless it's actually better. That alone tells you they respect your money. And forgiveness is their religion. Ping drivers, especially their high stability models, consistently test at or near the top of the entire industry for holding ball speed and direction on mishits. Independent robot testing has repeatedly put Ping's forgiveness models at the front of the pack. For an aging swing that doesn't find the sweet spot every time, that is the single most valuable trait a driver can have. They also build genuinely good stock shafts and offer sensible, lightweight, and senior flex options without treating them like an afterthought. Ping treats the slower swing as a real customer, not a discount bin problem. They're still priced at the premium level, near $600 new, so the value move is the same. Buy the model that's a cycle old. But of all the big names, Ping has earned the most trust for the exact golfer watching this. Forgiveness first, no calendar games, real respect for the older player. So which brand takes the top spot? The one that combines everything we've talked about: real performance, real forgiveness, and the most honest price in the whole business. And most of you have never even hit one. Number 1, the best driver value for the senior golfer in 2026 is Tour Edge, and specifically the Exotics line. I know, some of you just tilted your head. That's exactly the point. This is a brand the marketing machine kept in your blind spot, and it's the one I quietly put in my own bag. Here's what makes Tour Edge the smart man's driver. They build premium, high-quality heads with the same maxed-out legal face as everyone else. Remember, nobody can beat 0.83, and they sell them at prices that undercut the giants, often by well over $100. Their previous models drop into genuine bargain territory while still being fully modern, forgiving drivers. But the real reason they top my list is who they build for. Tour Edge has long paid attention to the senior and moderate speed golfer with lightweight builds, high launch designs, and a hand-built quality reputation, including old-school touches like hand-tuning the head. They've spent decades serving the exact player the big brands treat as an afterthought, the golfer who wants distance and forgiveness without a tour swing. And they back it with a lifetime warranty and customer service that treats a 70-year-old amateur like a valued player, not a walking wallet. Independent testing has repeatedly shown Exotics drivers going toe-to-toe with the $600 flagships on ball speed and forgiveness while costing significantly less. That's the whole game in one brand. Same legal ceiling on speed, top-tier forgiveness, built for your swing, honest price. That is why it's number 1 for us, and why the industry would rather you kept staring at the wall of familiar logos. So there's your ranking, worst to best. But I promised you something bigger than a brand. I promised you free yards, backed by robot data, that beat any purchase on this entire list. And that's what I'm going to give you right now. Here's the truth, the whole industry buried under the word new. The biggest distance leak for a senior golfer is not the brand on the head. It's how you deliver the club to the ball. And there's a number that proves it, sitting in plain sight inside TrackMan's own optimizer, the same launch monitor tour pros and serious fitters trust. It's called angle of attack. It simply means whether your driver head is moving slightly down or slightly up at the moment it strikes the ball. Most amateurs, especially as we age and our swings get shorter, hit down on the driver the same way we're taught to hit an iron. That's a disaster for driver distance. Here's the buried number. According to TrackMan's data, a golfer swinging around 90 miles an hour who changes from hitting down about 5 degrees to hitting up about 5 degrees can gain in the neighborhood of 20 yards of carry. 20 yards, Same swing speed, same driver, same body, just a different angle into the ball. Read that again. 20 yards free from a swing you already own. No $600 driver on this planet gives a senior 20 yards. The face was frozen in 2006, remember. But your attack angle is wide open, and nobody's selling it because nobody can charge you for it. So how do you actually do it this weekend? 3 simple moves, all free. First, tee it higher. Most seniors tee the ball far too low. Tee it so that half the ball, or even a touch more, sits above the crown of your driver at address. High tee invites an upward strike. Second, move the ball forward in your stance. Play it off the inside of your lead heel, your left heel for a righty. Forward ball position lets you catch the ball after the club has bottomed out and started climbing. Third, tilt your spine slightly away from the targeted address so your lead shoulder sits a little higher than your trail shoulder. Feel like your trail shoulder drops a hair. That tilt presets the upward strike without you having to lunge or lift. High tee. Ball forward, slight tilt away. That's it. Go to the range and hit 10 balls that way. You'll see them launch higher, hang longer, and land farther, and you didn't spend a cent. This is the hero's journey of the whole video. The truth existed sitting right there in the robot data the whole time. The industry buried it under 20 years of new model marketing because you can't put attack angle in a box on a shelf. But the launch monitors preserved it, the honest testers kept publishing it, and now it belongs to you. Combine that free attack angle fix with more loft and a lighter shaft in the driver you already own, and you will outcarry the version of yourself that spent $700 chasing 2 yards. I know, because I am that guy, and this is how I got my distance back. So here's what I really want you to walk away feeling. Those yards you thought age stole from you, a lot of them were never gone. They were hidden behind a low tee, a heavy shaft, too little loft, and a marketing story designed to sell you speed the rulebook outlawed 20 years ago. You just took them back, and it didn't cost you a driver. You're the kind of golfer who refuses to be overcharged, who trusts a number over a slogan, who would rather understand his gear than obey an ad. That's the whole reason you made it to the end of this. I put everything deeper into a plain-spoken buyer's guide, the honest driver and setup manual the industry never handed you, with the full brand rankings, the shaft weight chart by swing speed, and the exact loft and tee height settings by age and speed. It's the cheat sheet I wish someone had slid across the counter to me in that Scottsdale shop in 2019. Grab it from the link below. Now do one thing for me. Tell me in the comments what driver is in your bag right now, the exact brand and model, and what your loft is set to. I'll read them and tell you straight whether you're leaving yards on the tee. Leave that comment. Brand, model, and loft. Don't be shy. And if you're done being the golfer the industry markets to and ready to be the golfer who plays smarter every year instead of just spending more, subscribe and stand with the rest of us who refuse to be overcharged. Next time, I'm pulling the same curtain back on golf balls, and I'll show you the $40 box that tests dead even with the premium tour ball for a slower swing. You are not going to believe who makes it. Still wondering about that free 15-yard adjustment? Inside the Honest Fairway Club, I walk you through it, picking up right where this video stopped. And if you get stuck, ask me your own question. A real person answers. Not a bot. You won't be doing this alone. Just point your phone's camera at the code on the screen. And if it's not for you, cancel any time with one click. If this helped you find the right driver, do stay a while. Go ahead and subscribe and have a look around the channel. There's plenty more here to help you play your best.